Hello and welcome to World Talks on TVP World. My name is Sasha Farbach. Now, tensions are rising in Poland after a closely fought presidential election that has further exposed deep political divisions. Now, with a high-stakes confidence vote scheduled in Parliament on Wednesday, Prime Minister Donald Tusk's coalition faces a major test of unity and strength. Now, as the country navigates this volatile moment, we're joined by Piotr Kaczyński, EU Institutional Issues Lecturer, European Institute of Public Administration, to help unpack all these key dynamics shaping Poland's political future. So, good to see you.
Good to see you, Sasha. Good morning.
Good morning. It's a big day right now. Lawmakers are meeting at the Polish Parliament. So there are 460 lawmakers in the Polish Sejm, the Polish Parliament. Donald Tusk needs 231 votes. Does he have that majority? How is it going to go today? It's ongoing right now. How do you think it'll play out?
Well, of course, it's going to go well. I don't think that we should expect anything less than a simple vote in favor of Tusk's government. There has been a lot of boiling water after these elections on June the 1st, and a lot of shaming and bad words thrown out in the public discourse between various political actors in the political domain, especially in the ruling coalition, because nobody expected the defeat of Rafał Trzaskowski against the nationalist incoming president and Mr. Nawrocki. So that is why Tusk is trying to create an environment in which there will be laying grounds for policymaking in the upcoming 2.5 years until the end of the current term.
Mm-hmm. Now, you're saying this is something that he should get, the simple majority that he will receive today. But nevertheless, it's politics. Anything can happen. If we're looking at party unity here, you mentioned the coalition as well. Where do you see the greatest threat here? Where is there dissension in the ranks in your mind?
I think the biggest threat is from the fact that Tusk has pronounced that he wants to shake up his government, that he wants to lower the number of ministers, that he wants to reshape the institution he leads, and from that angle comes a lot of worries, especially among the coalition partners, because when it comes to the civic coalition that is under Tusk reign, and there's very few dissident votes or voices to be expected from. But from the left and from the something called the Third Way, which is comprising two parties, the Farmers PSL and the centrist Poland 2050 of the Speaker of the House, Mr. Hołownia, then those three partners are a little bit more hesitant. The left probably is firmly in the camp of the government, probably Poland 2050 as well. However, there is the question about the PSL, because some of those MPs have been voicing quite alternative scenarios, and there was even a poll within the PSL members whether they should consider an alternative coalition in the current House with Law and Justice. But not surprisingly to the Prime Minister Tusk, a great majority of PSL members have responded in that poll that they are partisans of the current ruling coalition. So Tusk, at the end of the day, should receive definitely many more than 231 votes in the current parliament.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, it's a political, let's say, intense day here. But nevertheless, let's go through some of the scenarios. Let's say, in case, if Tusk's government, if this coalition now would collapse today, who's set here to gain? I mean, the logical point would be Law and Justice, but who sets to gain beyond this? Take us through that.
Absolutely. I mean, if the Tusk government collapses, this is the collapse of the liberal democratic camp. We see that the political landscape in Poland is divided roughly 50-50. On June the 1st, the nationalist camp got a little edge. 2023, the Liberal Democrats got an edge. And what will happen 2027? That's the big question of the day. if Tusk was to lose today, then obviously the nationalists would gain even more wind in their sail, and could sail towards the big question of having an early elections this fall. Now, procedural steps are such that if the government does not obtain the vote of confidence, of course Tusk has to resign the government, and then there's a second and third step. And if the conclusion of the second and third step is nowhere to be found, then we have early elections in the fall. Unless there is an alternative as well, that could be a motion of the parliament to dissolve itself. This is what we saw back in 2007, when both Law and Justice and the Civic Platform at the time voted in favor of the solution of the parliament, precisely because it was no longer possible to govern with any majority. So the question is, what kind of majorities can we see? And at the end of the day, I think that something called Coalition of the 15th of October still maintains majority in the parliament. Should this prove to be absent, there should be an attempt to find an alternative, probably involving Law and Justice, Confederacy, and the PSL partners. But I would be worried if that's enough, if it's going to be successful in the current parliament. This is why that step would be quite shaky too. The three coalition partners of that sort would be very, very short or of 231 votes. Therefore, they would have to count on several votes from so-called independent MPs who were thrown out, or they resigned themselves from mainstream parties. Also, we would have to remember about the fact that we are supposed to have 460 MPs, but some of those MPs are in exile. So there's fewer than 460 MPs.
And also, you paint an interesting picture there of what could happen. But all of that, let's say in the interim, let's say if Donald Tusk does lose control of the government, if he doesn't survive this vote, who would take charge? Who would be the interim prime minister in that case? How does that work?
Who would be the interim president? So who would be effectively running the show until the next government is created? I would guess that it's still Tusk. That he is tasked with having a transitional government until the next government is formed. But that is quite an open question. It could easily be Kosiniak-Kamysz, who's the first deputy prime minister, and as there would be some sort of a need for some kind of a compromise scenario that would potentially lead towards some kind of a new majority, maybe that could be an option. Now, nobody, for starters, is truly considering those scenarios. This is why this is pure speculation. The media are, of course, feeding off that speculation today, this morning, but that is not what the political class is considering. This is why, for me to throw out names is purely.
But nevertheless, I want to ask you now on the
exercise.
other side. I've asked for one scenario. The second scenario is he does get the votes, he does carry on, the coalition remains in power, it carries on. I mean, how does he's still in a pickle? He's still, I think, going to be under fire. Does this rule out any other challenge to his coalition down the line, or will we see something like this in the future? Just briefly now at the end.
Of course, it will be challenging because this is a scenario in which Tusk governs for the remaining of the term without the president. So this parliament will be a little bit lame duck parliament. Government will govern, but the parliament will not be able to adopt laws because the president, Nawrocki, is going to veto a lot of those legislations. So that is the new political reality of the Tusk government, and we are going to hear from the prime minister of how he sees that new political reality.
Right. It's going to be all eyes, not just Poland, but I think Europe and the world on Warsaw. That parliament today will be watching very closely. Piotr Kaczyński, as ever, thank you so much for all that really interesting insight today. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
And thank you for watching. It includes World Talks, but stay tuned right here on TVP World for more news and commentary. Goodbye.